Credit card debt crisis in America is getting worse, and debt delinquencies are increasing. Hi, it's Edward, back with another video. Please take a moment to click the thumbs up button below and consider subscribing to the channel. Please also share this video with your friends. Thank you for your support. Today, I read several financial news articles. I've included links to the articles in the description below. I encourage you to read the articles to support the authors and news sources. As a private American citizen, I'd like to report and share my transformative thoughts through commentary regarding small sections of these articles that are of public interest. Today, I read an article on Yahoo Finance put out by CNN and written by Alicia Wallace titled, "Credit Card Delinquencies Surpass Pre-Pandemic Levels." You may want to sit down and brace yourself for what I am going to share with you because it isn't good. According to the author, more Americans are buckling under the weight of mounting credit card debt. All stages of credit card delinquency, 30, 60, and 90 days past due, jumped higher during the third quarter of last year, surpassing pre-pandemic levels for the first time, according to a report released Thursday by the Federal Reserve Bank of Philadelphia. I get upset when I read information like this, since we often hear how good our economy is doing from politicians and the mainstream media. Understand that there are people out there who are doing great. Many have more money than ever before because their assets have risen in value in recent years. However, many working class people are struggling now more than ever. Some simply can't make it on what they earn at their jobs. They rely on credit cards to bridge the gap. Many are doing this now more than ever due to inflation. In my opinion, many have reached a tipping point, which is why we are now hearing about all stages of credit card delinquency that jumped higher during the third quarter of last year, surpassing pre-pandemic levels. The author of the article went on to say the delinquency rates exceeded those seen during the fourth quarter of 2019 and are close to setting a high for the data series that started in 2012, according to the report. Are you disturbed that the delinquency rates are close to setting a high for the data series that first started being reported back in 2012? To me, this is serious, and we should all pay close attention to what is happening. I really wonder what we are all going to see moving forward, especially if we enter an ugly recession. Now, you might be wondering how banks are reacting. Well, the author references economist Gene Wan and senior analyst Anna Vexler, who said in response to this deterioration, banks are granting fewer credit line increases and reducing credit lines more frequently in the recent 4 quarters. Well, ladies and gentlemen, guess when banks did this before? They did this during the 2008 Great Financial Crisis. Many people didn't know what happened, and they couldn't believe that their credit lines were reduced. Many struggled to function without access to the credit that they once had. Consumers weren't alone back then. Many businesses saw their lines of credit dry up. Some businesses were forced to close and file bankruptcy. Banks were often left with toxic assets that decayed until they could eventually unload them at fire sale prices. I get an eerie feeling when I read articles such as the one that I'm reporting about today. It is so reminiscent of what transpired in 2008 and the years that followed the start of the Great Financial Crisis. The author of the article went on to reference Ted Rossman, a senior industry analyst with Bankrate, who said borrowers making the minimum payment on an average credit card balance of $6,000 at the average rate of 20.74% would be in debt for more than 17 years and end up paying $9,000 in interest. Well, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? There are a lot of people who are paying interest rates that exceed 20.74%. Some retail cards are close to 30%. I just don't know how sustainable all of this is. I worry about people who are struggling financially right now. My heart goes out to these people. I hope they can find ways to increase their income or reduce their expenses so that they can pay off their debt. If not, some could struggle for many years to come, unless they file bankruptcy if their financial situation gets too out of hand. What do you think about all this? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. I read an article today on Yahoo Finance written by Rick Newman titled 4 New Theories for Why Everybody's Bummed Out. According to the author, pervasive gloom seems to be a new feature of America. In NBC News polls, 73% of respondents say the United States is on the wrong track. the highest portion since 1989, when the polling series began. In similar Gallup polls, there's been a prolonged downward trend in American satisfaction with the direction of the country, from a peak of 71% in 1999 to just 22% today. Ladies and gentlemen, I have to tell you, I feel this just about everywhere I go. People are not happy. Americans are struggling. The public is worried about what is happening. Some are struggling to survive. Some who are accustomed to a certain lifestyle have been forced to scale back, and that has been very uncomfortable. The author of this article went on to say, consumers are almost as dejected now as they were in 2009, when the nation was emerging from the Great Recession and the unemployment rate was approaching 10%. If you are unfamiliar with the word dejected, it is an adjective and it means sad and depressed. Now, the author identifies select pain points, which include the cost of food, rent, and transportation, which are still elevated compared to pre-pandemic levels. In my opinion, these are more than just pain points. Humans need shelter and they need food. Without food and shelter, humans can't survive. It shakes me to my core when I think about all of the people in America who are suffering because of housing insecurity and food insecurity. With as bad as things are now, I can't even imagine what life could be like in America for millions of people if we enter an ugly recession. I truly worry about this. What do you think? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. On the topic of Americans who are in debt, I read an article today on Yahoo Finance put out by Fox Business and written by Breck Dumas titled 30% of Americans behind on debt payments in largest metros study finds. According to the author, a new study released by LendingTree found 29.6% of residents in the nation's 100 largest metros were behind on at least one debt payment during the third quarter of 2023, and 27.3% had serious delinquencies that were over 90 days past due or more. More than a quarter, 26.2%, had debt in collections. Well, ladies and gentlemen, life in America is expensive, but life here is even more expensive in major metropolitan areas. If you travel much, compare the cost to rent a hotel room somewhere in the Midwest compared to New York or Los Angeles. The price difference is staggering. The cost of rent has gotten expensive everywhere in recent years, but it is very expensive in large cities. It is unbelievable to me what some apartment complexes are charging for a tiny studio or one bedroom, especially once you factor in the cost of parking and concierge trash, which many operators charge extra for. I personally think concierge trash is the biggest scam in the world. Every apartment operator that I know of doesn't give people a choice to opt out of that service. Do they really think people are so lazy that they can't walk down a heated and carpeted hallway to the trash room to dispose of their trash? The world is getting to the point where businesses are all trying to siphon as much money as possible from consumers. Just look at software companies. It's hard to actually buy software that you own anymore. Many companies only want to sell subscriptions to software so that they can continue to get renewals for years to come. Did you know that BMW dropped their plans to charge $18 per month for heated seats in their cars? It was actually a monthly subscription that was available at its digital store of added features. Now, to their credit, they did offer unlimited access for $415. I can't be the only one that is bothered by this kind of stuff. If this bothers you, tell me about it in the comment section below. I've digressed. Getting back to the article, the author sheds some light on which generations are struggling with delinquencies. According to the author, more than a third of millennials, 36.7%, ages 27 to 42, and Gen Zers, 36.2%, ages 18 to 26, had at least one delinquent account last year. Millennials were found to have the highest default rates on credit card accounts, 19.6%, auto payments, 7.8%, personal loans, 8.3%, and other debts, 27.9%. However, Gen Xers ages 43 to 58 were most likely to be behind on mortgage payments at 1.2%. Well, my friends, these double-digit percentages really worry me, and they should worry you as well. I am concerned about people who are dealing with all of this. I hope they can find a way to overcome their financial struggles. As I mentioned earlier, this is all happening at a time when we are being told things are going well in this country. What is going to happen if and when we enter an ugly recession? I just can't imagine what we may all witness before our very eyes. In my opinion, right now, we are witnessing what happens during inflationary times when wages don't keep pace. Unfortunately, some people are left behind, while others flourish financially. If we do enter an ugly recession, it is certainly possible that some will capitalize on the downturn and load up on even more assets while others suffer. Let's hope it doesn't come to fruition. What do you think about all this? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. Please keep in mind that everything in this video is for entertainment purposes only, and nothing in this video is financial advice or advice of any kind. If you need advice, seek advice from a qualified professional in good standing who puts your interests first and foremost. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing to the channel. Please also consider sharing this video with your friends. I want to extend a special thanks to everyone who has subscribed to this channel. I want to also thank all of my channel members. Check out some of the great books that I suggest you consider reading in the description below. I've included Amazon affiliate links to these books. As an Amazon associate, I earn from qualifying purchases. Stay healthy and wealthy. I'll see everyone in the next video.